Beer here for my last session of the day. I went over to the South by Southwest Awards Showcase. They have the finals going on. I think they're deciding it tonight, actually. But I walked through the area where they were showing off everything and talked to a few panels that really caught my eye that I found interesting. The first one was this super cool giant agricultural drone that is like what I see as the future of drone technology, but being used today. Right now, it's being used for agricultural work in the US, but I was talking with the company themselves, and they actually originally started out once it was like for late 2017, early 2018. They were really good at building drones, but like big drones that were capable of lifting larger weights, but they didn't have the use for it yet, especially since in the US with all the FAA like flight controls and all that, it's hard for you to like move those big drones around without causing problems for society below you. So they haven't really been able to mass produce it on like a delivery level, but they got contracted to someone in Costa Rica had a DoorDash type business that he wanted to use drones to do. And at the time, Costa Rica had no rules about drone use in that capacity. And so they went down there, and for it was like 8 to 12 months, they were full use delivery drones going all over the country, um, and just doing crazy things that were far beyond what anyone's doing, like way ahead of what Amazon was doing at that time, let alone even what Amazon has now. And obviously, there's different FAA regulations that cause problems with that, so they can't easily get out there. But this company has the capability not only to start deliveries right when it's available in the US, but they're currently transitioning those same drones into agricultural drones for spraying pesticides, watering crops, just monitoring the landscape. And they're selling them out to farmers all over the country. I think they said they had over 30,000 units already sold on the market across the US. So they have a huge base. And these aren't like small DJI personal drones you fly around to see stuff. These are like 10 feet diagonally across, like huge drones that are capable of watering and dealing with your entire crop base. But also, the thing is, they're incredibly light. I was in there and I could pick it up by myself. It was probably 50, maybe 60 pounds. And yes, it didn't have any liquid in it. That's probably the bulk of the weight when it's actually in flight. But it's capable of doing things that are way far beyond what I thought was going to be what I'd see at this event, let alone what I thought was actually out there right now. And I found it really cool because they're like in the large drone agricultural space, which is really the only, aside from military use, the only place that those large drones are really being used at the moment. And those are like they're the second largest competitor. Their biggest competitor is DJI, who owns 80% of the market because they're like 95% of the drones that exist in the world are made by DJI and directly related to them. Well, that's what I was told. That I don't know the specifics. I don't really know the drone lore going on, but they said that most of the market is owned basically entirely by DJI, and that's for drones as a whole. But inside the agricultural drones like theirs, they have 15% of the market, whereas DJI has 80%. So of the available market share outside of the one major giant in the drone industry, they have 75% of the available space, which I think is really cool and shows that like once we start getting more going on these big drone ideas, they will be at the front of it. It's really cool. The drone itself was called the Ares HYL 150, and it's something I'm definitely going to be looking for in the future. And then the second people I talked to, they were based out of LA and they were called Azure Printed Homes. And what they're basically doing is turning plastic waste and recyclable goods that aren't being actually used to recycle into anything, and they're printing homes with it. Like basically 3D printing, but using old plastic that we haven't been able to use. And it's one of the coolest projects I've heard of. I did some research for a class last year to learn about how 3D printed homes could be an option for um, the homeless population and like expanding what they're capable of actually providing homes for these people that aren't just temporary for when they can fit them and then they kick it back out on the street. Like these are places they could actually stay. And what I was hearing from them is they print, I think it was something like 400 square foot, no, like 150 square foot homes in a day, and they have like four printers in their factory, so they can do four of those units every day, and they have a Connect that supplies them with all the plastic waste they need. So all of their focus is on building homes things that people can actually use. And I was getting, they had a little sample there that I was feeling and like looking at to kind of see what it was going on with it. And it's actually like 3 times more sturdy than plywood, and they triple ply it, so it's basically 10 times better than the wood frame houses that are existing right now, and so much cheaper. Solves two of the biggest problems that we have facing it. One of the biggest homelessness in the U.S., and then one of the biggest worldwide problems in global warming and just overall waste production. It solves two of those like basically perfectly. And this is the kind of thing where if they had like maybe some government backing or something to help them make that one step to actually mass produce these and get these everywhere, it would solve all the problems. And I know that California, it's got big cities, it's got a huge population, but there's so much land, even outside the farmland that is there, that's just completely untouched and unused. And turning some of these lots into these tiny homes or communities where they have these 3D printed homes where it's actually making the planet better to build these places for them and helping people out. It's like a win-win, and the only thing we're losing is money, and that's what they kind of needed when they were talking about it. So that's also going to be a product I'm really looking forward to. And I talked to both of them. They said this company or the two companies both have presentations going on tomorrow inside the major or main conference center. So I'll definitely be checking it out, talking more about. Thank you.